recently switched back to an iPhone after a couple years with an Android phone, and the options in terms of charging cases looked pretty ugly. Most of the cases on Amazon looked like this. They just weren't very appealing to me. I wasn't feeling all the bumps and humps on these cases and really wasn't a fan of the curved designs on these. After a quick Google search, I ended up on this Gorilla Gadgets case. I have always been a fan of the OtterBox cases, and the look of this Gorilla Gadgets case really reminded me a little bit of that. I'd never heard of this brand before, so for around $40, I decided to take a chance, order the case, and see how it holds up. In this review, I'll cover some of the things I liked and some of the things I didn't like about this case to help you decide if it's the right one for you. We'll start off with the things I liked about the case. The first thing is that it has a decently slim profile. It's not super thin, but definitely not as thick and curvy as some of the humped cases I was seeing on Amazon. I had actually ordered one of these thick ones before finding this Gorilla Gadgets case, and as you can see, the thickness is very evident. Of course, this one has a bigger 5000 mAh battery than the 3100 in the Gorilla case. I'm just gonna call it Gorilla case from now on. Sounds cooler anyway. But the design just isn't very flattering. The Gorilla case, on the other hand, fits nicely in my pocket and doesn't add a ton of bulk either. I really like the profile and it doesn't add much weight to your carry. The next thing I liked about this case was the sturdy build that it has. It feels very solid in the hand, the grooves on the side make for a nice place to grab when you pick it up, and the phone doesn't feel like it's going to slip out of your hand. It actually feels pretty solid and that you have a good grip on it. There's some hard plastic on the outside of the cover to protect it from falls, and it just has an overall cool looking design. I really like the red accents and the futuristic vibe to the back of the case as well. The last thing I want to hit on in terms of likes is the obvious ability to recharge on the go. The only reason you get a charger case is to have the ability to charge on the run. This case certainly doesn't disappoint when it comes to that. When my battery started running low, the case took the phone from about 30% to 100% on the first recharge with this case, which was pretty good. There's an indicator on the back of the case that shows you how much power it has left. After the first recharge, I had 2 bars remaining in the case. The second time I recharged my phone, the case only took the phone from 30% to about 70%. Not terrible. I was hoping to be able to get 2 full charges off this case, but 1.5 isn't bad at all either. When it comes to the cons of this case, the first thing that I didn't like about it was the thinness of the lip. The lip is pretty thin and doesn't provide much confidence in terms of screen protection. Like I mentioned earlier, I really like the OtterBox cases, and my favorite part of those cases is the size of the lip. A nice thick lip keeps your phone screen from making contact with the ground if it's dropped face first. This case has some good protection on the side, but I would keep a screen protector on your phone at all times to compensate for the thinness of the lip on here. The next thing that I wasn't a fan of was how hard it is to access the silent mode toggle with this case on. Reaching that switch is such a pain because the plastic from the case engulfs that iPhone switch, and it makes it almost impossible to flip the switch or flip your phone to silent without digging your fingers in there. Whenever I need to put my phone on silent, I have to use both hands, one to hold the phone and the other to dig for the toggle switch. Definitely an inconvenience there, especially when you're trying to multitask and just do it really quickly. Going in line with the design of this case, the other thing I didn't like was how hard, literally hard it is to press the charge button on the back of the case. Maybe I just haven't figured out the proper technique, but pressing the charge button on this case literally makes my fingers hurt. There's no reason the button should be this hard to access. The button is flush with the back of the case and is almost impossible to press down on the first try. I have to repeatedly press on the button and sometimes even use a pen or another object to help push the button down. For something that is so crucial to the function of this case, I feel like the design of the charge button is something that should definitely be addressed in future cases. Overall, the Gorilla case is a nice, slim-ish charging case for your iPhone with a few frustrating flaws. It has a sturdy build, feels good in the hand, and does an excellent job of charging on the go. The thin lip around the case doesn't exude much confidence, as I mentioned, when it comes to screen protection. The design flaws in terms of the silent mode toggle and the charge button also make for a bit of frustration when it comes to daily use. It's certainly not the best iPhone charging case, but if you can overlook some of the flaws, it can serve you decently well. If you're interested in getting this case, you can find them at GorillaGadgets.com. This particular case sells for about $39.99 currently on the site. This case was bought with my own money, and Gorilla Gadgets did not sponsor this video in any way. So hopefully this video helped you out. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.